Alright boys, Quinn69 here. I'm actually really excited because I get to show you this new build. It's pretty damn epic, I'm not gonna lie. I was messing around with this morning, like trying to just optimize it a little bit, and now she's turned into a bit of a beast, and I'm actually really excited to show you guys what this thing is kind of capable of. You gotta remember, my gear is not fully optimized by any means necessary, so we're just gonna go in here and kind of just give you a gaze, show you what's up, show you what the hell the build's actually capable of. This is not the best map to show you in. We really need an outdoors map actually, but we'll kind of just give you a little jam sesh here, see if we can't show you what the build kind of does. I don't know if you've noticed, it looks like I've kind of got a speed pile on, 24/7 speed pile on almost, and that's because of the kind of the. I mean, now I literally have got a speed pile on, but you can see it doesn't look like I'm running much faster. But yeah, that's what the build's based around. It's speed, cleave damage. It just destroys T6 like it's. This is T6. We're not in normal mode or anything. Just if you guys were wondering, if I was just like I've edited it so it looks like it's T6, but it's not. But this is legitimate T6, boys, and it kind of just gets destroyed. I've been doing this build for the whole morning, kind of just trying to work out which is the best setup, and I've had some rifts that have been sub 1 minute runs. Outdoor rifts, you can literally just decimate. You just run around and just blow the entire map up with kind of like one button. It's really kind of cool. Like the movement speed in this build is just ridiculous. The only thing that's letting me down is my my crappy computer, because I actually can't load the screens fast enough. But yeah, it's kind of dumb. But this is the build, boys. This is kind of what we're working with. It's just ridiculous. It's a lot of fun though. When you get on this and you start doing this sort of stuff, I don't know if it's too like at the beginning it'll almost be like too fast. You'll be like, man, I got too much movement speed. You gotta try and like, I don't know. Just once you get used to it though, it's totally fine. It's just like, it just changes the game pace by a lot. And also the other thing about the build that's great is you're actually unkillable. Like, we'll go over why you're unkillable. It's due to gold stacks and the gold wrap, but I'll fully explain that in a bit. It kind of lacks a little bit of single target, as you can see. The Rift Guardian does take about 7 seconds, 8 seconds to die. But like, I mean, if I was playing Lightning Pillar, I could have killed him much faster. But we'll go over why we're not using Lightning Pillar and why we're running what we're running right now, boys. Right now. Hope you guys enjoyed that gameplay. I know you guys do love the gameplay. That's why I always make a point to start off with just some nice little action. Now, the rest of the video, if you're not interested, it's just going to be me talking. I'm just going to explain everything and how it works and why we do it and what's going on. But yeah, I don't know how fast the rift was. That was like an average rift for this build. This build can kind of run rifts. Yeah, as I said, sub 1 minute. If you get an outdoors map with a lot of destructibles, there's like a particular one where it has lots of armor racks, and that one there you can just you literally within, it's not even, you would have been in the rift for less than a minute. Like, it'll be like 50 seconds and the Rift Guardian is already out, sort of thing. Or like the swamps. There's a few maps where this build just destroys. But let's get into it. I'm going to stop talking about maps. We're going to talk about gear and what we use and why we use it. So if you guys don't know, there's been some Wuku change. So as you can see here, it no longer does 3,000 weapon damage every time you spend 75 spirit. And now what it does is it does 1,000% weapon damage every time you cast Cyclone Strike, Exploding Palm, Lashing Tail Kick, Tempest Rush, and Wave of Light. So what that means is every time I press Wave of Light, you can see here, boys, we get a little clone. Another thing to note, I mean, I've already told you guys this a lot of times in my other videos, but yeah, the clone itself scales off your highest elemental damage. So because I've got 56% fire damage, my clone then in turn does fire. It scales with fire elemental damage, which is great. But that's not what we're worried about. We're worried about the 500% buff. So every time I press this, it increases the damage of this ability times 5, which is just, I mean, as you can see, it's kind of overpowered. Monks are currently the strongest class in the game right now. Just fingers crossed Blizzard don't nerf us. Fingers crossed, boys, because it's a good time to be a monk. It's a good time to be a monk, boys. Good time to be a monk. And let me just reiterate another point. This build is not designed for greater rifts. It is purely because it won't work in greater rifts. It's all based around burst damage and speed. Once mobs start living too long, you're going to run out of spirit, and you're not going to be able to kind of maintain DPS, and it's just not going to work. Just only for T6 boys. But this dominates any other build I've tried. Like this takes a dump on all the other builds I've tried. So yeah. The reason why we use fire, wave of light here, boys, the reason why we're using, because times it's by 5 or whatever, there is other ones, like Pillar of the Ancients. You're like, oh, why don't we use Pillar of the Ancients? Surely that's better, because it has better damage scaling. But as you can see, when you drop one of these, it does like a small AoE around it, a small AoE. And in T6, one of these pillars will easily kill everything in range of it, but we don't want that. We want huge AoE. And what the fire one does is it literally just cleaves the entire half the screen even. You can kind of I've seen it hit. Like I'll be attacking a mob like over there, and see that the little guy running towards me. That guy will kill stuff that's on me in melee range. So it's kind of dumb. And that's really where the build is kind of overpowered. It's not, you're hitting 3 times the amount of targets, so you're doing 3 times the amount of damage, and there's no dot. It's not like a dot damage. It's just all burst, and that's how the build kind of works. So we'll go over gear. We'll go over gear here, guys. So this is pretty much mandatory. You're not going to be able to maintain the spirit really. You can use other weapons like Furnace. Furnace is okay, but you really want to get a Torch of the Grand Temple here. Main reason being is it reduces the spirit cost of Wave of Light by 47%. And because we're not using the only thing we're getting spirit from is our skills and our passive. We haven't got like hardly any spirit regen, so you need to really, like, this is integral if you want to do the build properly. So yeah, get this stuff here, boys. Captain Crimson's 2 set, so that's Captain Crimson's. The reason we use this is because it's got resource cost reduction 10%, and it's also got cooldown reduction. Cooldown reduction's pretty huge for doing T6 speed clearing, because you need cooldown reduction in order to dash, to pop Epiphany, so you have spirit, and to use your Mystic Ally. And it's mainly for dash though. Dash is like the main thing. So you've just constantly got that, like, you're just always moving, just boom, 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 just in there. Another really important item here is gold wrap. Gold wrap is integral to this. Because the build, as you can see, my toughness is really low, and I'm not using a unity ring, so my toughness is really low. And what the gold wrap does on gold pickup, gain armor equal to, so it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So say you pick up 1,000 gold, that's 1,000 armor, and it keeps stacking as long as you keep picking up gold. And yeah, because you're killing stuff so frequently, and you're using the legendary gem, Boon of the Hoarder. And it means 100% chance on killing an enemy to spawn a gold explosion. So yeah, this gives you, just effectively makes you immortal in T6. It doesn't work in greater rifts, so yeah, don't try it in greater rifts. But yeah, gold wrap combined with the Boon of the Hoarder, as long as you pick up, like, you'll pick up gold. Like, you see, I wasn't like running around chasing gold. You kind of just, I've got 35 billion gold, so there's no point in me picking up gold. I have literally no use for it. It's just for the immortality. But if you do need gold, then I guess Boon of the Hoarder would double up as a source of income. But generally, the second you put this gem in, gold becomes like an irrelevant resource. Kind of just, yeah, there's no real point. Another really important item, a really amazing item that has perfect synergy with the build, is a Syndicote. Mainly because, you get resource cost reduction by 30% on fire skills. And Wave of Light is fire, and that's what you're spending all your spirit on. So that gives you more efficiency. You've got 10% RCR here, 30% RCR here, 50% RCR here. It does diminish, but it's still really strong to get a decent amount of RCR. So like with Captain Crimson's Syndicote and the weapon, yeah, you can just spam Wave of Light and just maintain your spirit with these cooldowns. Another really important item for the build that's kind of making it really OP is this helmet here. So Kurin's Gaze. I'm never going to quite master that name there. But yeah, what this helmet does is you're not really worried about the other stats. It does give you Wave of Light damage, which is pretty nice. But the main thing is Wave of Light is now cast at your enemy. So normally, if I don't have this helmet on, so I'll take this off here. So normally, I'll try and use my Wave of Light, and it'll be melee range. And obviously, this is not what we want, because it's a ranged build, and you're trying to kill stuff like everywhere, and outdoor maps especially. You can be like You know, you could be standing in the center of the map, and you could be going boom, 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 and you could just clear the entire map with 3 wave of lights like that, rather than having to run over, do an attack, run over, do an attack, run over. You can see that this is the whole point. You know, crazy movement speed, and then you've also got that like extreme length. You've got that extreme length on your attacks as well. So like you've just got, I mean, so much utility for just killing stuff. Another really, I mean, this is mandatory, obviously. The build does not work without this. It is Samwuku 3 set, so you need Samwuku, you need the Samwuku gloves, you need the Samwuku shoulders, you need the Samwuku amulet. You can see here, my amulet is not good. You really want double crit on that bad boy, not, you know, you want crit and crit damage with dexterity in a socket. But unfortunately, I don't have one. So you can see I'm not even, my gear is not optimized, and it already absolutely destroys. Once I optimize my gear, it's going to be even more retarded. But yeah, so Samwuku 3 set, and you know the reason we're only using 3 set is because we've got this ring equipped, Ring of Royal Crown Sure, pretty much mandatory for a lot of specs. What this does is it reduces the, like you're looking at the secondary there, reduces the number of items needed for set bonuses. So that means you get the Captain Crimson's 3 set for only having 2 pieces on, you get the Samwuku 3 set for only having 3 pieces on, which is obviously great. Braces, this is not quite mandatory. There is another bracer you can use, but this is also adding to like the retardedness. You know, this is adding to the insane, crazy movement speed, and that is the Wasechian arm guards. I probably butchered that name. It's probably, I don't know how to pronounce that, but yeah. These if you look at the secondary there, every time you destroy a wreckable object, you gain a short burst of speed. So you know, this attack here, which is literally blowing up half of the damn screen, you know, half of the screen. If there's anything in there that is breakable, you're gonna break it. You're gonna break it. And you've also got this mystic ally. He runs around, and when he gets in combat, he puts a sweeping wind. He breaks stuff. Like, I mean, you know, you're breaking everything. Like, there's no objects that aren't getting broken, and that just gives you a constant, like, I don't even know what the movement speed bonus is, but it's a lot. It's crazy amount of movement speed. But alternatively, if you want to go full min-max experience, you can put the Casterian wrist guards on, and these are another bracer. Picking up gold grants experience. Obviously, we're using Boon of the Hoarder for the gold wrap, so this has a perfect synergy. These 3 items there: Boon of the Hoarder, the wrist guards. So that's a 1-to-1 ratio. So every 1 gold, you get 1 experience. So as you can see here, my level here is 15 billion experience. So every 15 billion gold, you get 1 level. You know. It's okay. In the earlier Paragon levels, it is noticeable. You can actually notice, like, if you're running around with Boon of the Hoarder on, like up to about Paragon 500, these will really make a difference. And then the higher you get, the more irrelevant it becomes. And then you're probably going to find that actually clearing the rift faster will actually give you more experience per hour versus, you know, using these braces. So it's really debatable. And also, you have to get the killing, you know, to get the gold to come out, you have to get the killing blow. So in a group situation, so if you're running around with, like, you know, 3 other friends, and you're not getting many killing blows, it's less gold, which improves the value of these braces here. The other ring we're using is Stone of Jordan. This is optional. You can also use Unity, so you can chuck a Unity on that, or Unity instead of that if you want. So if you think you need survivability, which you absolutely don't, you can run Unity. But this is primarily designed for T6, and you don't. More damage is better, because, you know, with the gold wrap, you literally take you know, 0 damage. You take no damage whatsoever. So yeah, I would say use Stone of Jordan here. If you don't have Stone of Jordan, then use a Unity. If you don't have that, then just use like a Mandel heal, or like anything. Just any other ring that has good damage stats. You know, just, you know, Ring of Royal, and then, you know, just any ring with good damage stats. But the best possible ring, because this one has elite damage and it also can roll fire damage, you get crazy damage scaling out of this ring. It's really, really broken for doing damage. Like, so if you want to do a lot of DPS, get a Stone of Jordan, boys. So we've covered everything, all the gear here, boys. Got my little notepad here. So gameplay, items, skills, and passives. All right. So for the skills and passives, boys, so we've already gone over this one. Wave of Light, Explosive Light, so this is the fire rune. We've already gone over why that's good. It's to do with that crazy AoE damage and burst damage, and not kind of that small kind of pussy lightning pillar that you're going to use for greater ifs ultimately. The next best thing for this build is Mystic Ally, Air Ally. You need this generally. This gives you an extra 4 spirit per second passively, and then you know, depending on your cooldown reduction, you know, you can also use it every 15 seconds for 100 spirit, you know, which works out to be a lot of spirit back just by having this ally out. And he also acts as like a little tank, so he also kind of holds mobs back, which is great. You know, he kind of holds things back from hitting you and stuff. He's just a really good thing to have all around. But yeah, you need him for the spirit region. Mantra of Conviction, Annihilation. This thing is awesome. You're not really using it for the damage because a lot of the times, you know, I mean, okay, you are kind of using it for, you're just using it for the movement speed. That's really what you're using for. The damage is okay, whatever. You know, increases the damage I take by 10%, but you're never going to activate it. Using Spirit to activate that thing is just a bad idea. Just use Wave of Light to spend Spirit. All you're using it for is every kill gives you 30% movement speed for 3 seconds, assuming they're within 30 yards of you. But you know, a lot of times there'll be like one little trash mob, which will be kind of in 30 range, and a lot of the other times, you know, the stuff will be like 40 yards, 50 yards away, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, you'll get this proc a lot. So, and that movement speed is obviously kind of integral to the build as well, kind of really good. Sweeping Wind in a Storm. This is also pretty mandatory. This you're not using it for the Sweeping Wind. You're not worried. Like as you saw when I was doing the gameplay, I wasn't really hitting anything with my Sweeping Wind. It's not to do with damage. It's literally if you look at the very bottom there, as long as your vortex is at 3 or more stacks, you gain 8 spirit per second. So yeah, you know, you're getting spirit from ally, you're getting spirit from Sweeping Wind. All good and Gucci, boys. For dash, I've opted for gain 20% movement speed when you dash, just because I just liked having a perma speed pile on. It was really fun because you've got a lot of cooldown reduction. You can maintain that buff like 50% uptime. It's ridiculous. So yeah, this is a really nice buff to have. Just 20% movement speed. Although the movement speed is, they don't multiply with each other. They just keep adding up. So really, stacking a lot of movement speed isn't that advantageous, and you totally could go for Quicksilver. I couldn't make up my mind. I just liked this one because, you know, most of the time you'd have a charge up. But sometimes Quicksilver could be better because, you know, a lot of the time you're just sitting there wave of lighting over and over, and you know, you could be generating more charges, and then you potentially could have more uptime with Quicksilver. But yeah, either one of these two for T6, both really good choices. I'll go back to Way of the Falling Star though. That's my favorite one. Epiphany, Insight. You might be like, oh wait a minute, you're a fire build. Why not use Inner Fire? It doesn't work. I'm afraid to say, boys. I could show you, but yeah, it's you pop Inner Fire, and then you use the skill, and then it just does nothing. I don't know why Blizzard haven't just. It says engulf yourself in flames, causing your attacks to deal 353% weapon damage as fire. Sounds really good and everything, but with Wave of Light, Explosive Light, it just doesn't work. So yeah, you're just going to go ahead and use the Spirit Rune. Yeah, Inner Fire. It's kind of. I was looking into it. I was like, oh, maybe the animation is bugged, but no, there's definitely no damage component there. So yeah, you just want to go ahead and use Insight. You could. Insight's not really necessary because you actually don't need it to maintain the spirit. It's just kind of makes it a little bit easier. You know, you press it, and then when the Epiphany ends, you're already at full spirit, so you've got less spirit management to worry about. You could go Desert Shroud if you would like, just because, you know, you're not going to have any gold at the beginning when you walk in, so you guys are going to be really fragile until you kill your first mob, so it means you can instantly pop Desert Shroud, and then you're guaranteed you're not going to die. But yeah, I just use Insight. You can avoid dying. Yeah, Insight's good. Momentum, so every moving 25 yards gives you 20% damage for 6 seconds. This is up the entire rift, because you're just blowing everything up in one shot. It's just going boom, boom, boom. Everything's just blowing up. This is 20% damage across the board, 100% uptime. Only thing you can really switch this out for is Unity. I mean, you can't really use Unity actually. Take that back. Let's just not even. Yeah, Momentum, boys. Just use Momentum. It's really good. Just use it, boys. Seize the Initiative. Dealing damage to enemies above 75% life gives you 30% attack speed, 4 seconds. So yeah, you don't really need to worry about that. It's going to be up all the time because, you know, you one-shotting mobs anyway. It's just really, it's nice because it's just you're going to constantly have 30% movement speed, and what what attack speed does is attack speed increases your dash animation. So like your dash will actually go faster. Your attacks animations obviously going to go faster. So you're going to have that buff up a lot of times. Even if you one shot every single mob in the area, it just means your dash is quicker, and then your next mob you go to hit, you're going to have another 30% attack speed, which is really great. It makes it a lot quicker. Now obviously, we're stacking movement speed. So we have to get fleet-footed. You can't not take this, boys. This is the key. This is key. This is key's talent right here. If you want to be a god and just like run really fast, and just 10% movement speed, boys, can run around faster. You can't say no to that, boys. Beacon of Utah, so 20% CDR. You know, dashing strike cooldown, Epiphany, Mystic Ally, all really good. Mainly for the dash though, boys. More speed. You know what I'm saying? And you might wonder, wait a minute, aren't you going to die? You've got no, defensive talents, because normally every single build will run with Harmony. That's not the case though. You don't need to worry about defense. You're using Gold Wrap with Boon of the Hoarder, so you're not going to take any damage. But maybe, say you don't have Boon of the Hoarder yet, or you don't have a Gold Wrap, you could opt out of the movement speed, and you could run the same build, but with Harmony, until you get the combo that makes you a god and unkillable, you know. So yeah, it's up to you. I mean, I would say just get Boon of the Hoarder ASAP and get Gold Wrap. They're both really easy to get. You know, Goblin Portals, there's goblins everywhere now, so, and they're even doing a buff, you know, that, so just get the items. Don't run any defensive talents. Defensive talents are for pussies, alright? I have forgot to go over legendary gems here, so we're going to quickly go over legendary gems. So obviously we're using Boon of the Hoarder. We've explained that. Another really cool gem here is Zay's Stone of Vengeance. So increases the damage you deal by 6.45% for every 10 yards between you and your enemy you hit, and a maximum of 32.25 at 50 yards, and it also gives a nice stun. The proc coefficients on this ability, because the stun is based off proc coefficients. It doesn't stun a lot, but the stun's there. It does stuff. That's not really what we're worried about. The fact is, you get 32% damage. 50 yards is pretty much this. This is pretty much 50 yards, and you're going to be attacking mobs at that range and even further. Because you can imagine, the bell is hitting there, and then the spirits even going out further. The spirits are going out another 30 yards. So you've effectively got a range of like 80 yards. You've got a crazy range with this build, like mental range. You could be like, I could hit that. See that? Say I was trying to hit this little chick here. I could run all the way back to here, and I would still be DPSing her from here. I would still be killing her with my thing from there. It's crazy the range you've got. So Zay's Stone of Vengeance, best in slot. A thing to note about that gem is it is multiplicative, so it's not additive damage like all your other damage sources, so it is a multiplier separate to everything else, so it doesn't get diminished with anything, which means it's pure. When you read that, it is a pure 32.25% increased damage. It's really good. Whereas like Taeguk is not, it's additive, so it's less. Another gem I just leveled up specifically for this build. I've never really liked this gem until now. Simply because this build does lack a little bit of elite damage, and you get a lot of scaling out of elite damage, and you also get 20% damage. And it's really annoying to maintain Taeguk. You could use Taeguk in place of Bane of the Powerful, but yeah, Bane of the Powerful is really nice. Gain 20% increased damage for 57 seconds after killing an elite pack. And as you saw, you can do minutes. You can do rifts in under, so you can do an entire rift in less than a minute. So you're gonna kill like an elite pack every 10 seconds. You don't need to. That's 20% damage is up all the time. If you're playing it right and you're going ham. If you're really relaxing and going slow, then maybe it would drop down. But generally, it's going to be 100% uptime, and then the 15% elite damage is really nice. All right, we've gone through. What have we done here? Skills, passives, Paragon. All right, I always forget Paragon, boys. We always forget Paragon. So Paragon. Pretty basic, really. So you want to cap your movement speed out, obviously. Well, you don't want to cap it out. So say you've got no movement speed on your boots. Okay, so these boots have 11% movement speed. So all that means is you want to go 14%. So I want to, because you've got a, so the base movement speed cap is 25%. Obviously, your skills and abilities can increase that. So we need to go. This needs to go to 14%. So then, yeah, sweet. It's done. 25. So now we're at 20. Now we go to our details here. We should be sitting at, well, it's 35 because we have fleet-footed, but now we're sitting at exactly 25%. So if we would have removed fleet-footed, remove that from the thing, it should be exactly. So as long as your thing here says exactly 25, and you make sure you don't spend too many paragons. Like don't put everything in when you have movement speed on your gear. Obviously, that's not ideal. And then the rest in dexterity. Because you don't need any survivability. You don't need anything. You just want more damage so you can clear the rift faster, For this build here, cooldown reduction is king. So cooldown reduction first. So say you're low Paragon. First of all, max your cooldown reduction. You can dash faster. Epiphany. Mr. Kelly, and then you want to balance your crits out. So say you're lacking, so you want the 1 to 10 ratio between crit hit chance and crit hit damage. That's just the best way it scales. So yeah, if you're lacking crit hit damage, then spec crit hit damage. If you're lacking crit hit chance, you'll get crit chance. But max these both out before you go to attack speed. Attack speed is generally not a good thing because you can. I mean, it's not hard to maintain spirit, but it just gets harder. The more attack speed you have, the harder it is to maintain it. For defense, you just want it doesn't really matter. Early game, resist is better. Late game, armor is better. So you just want to go resist generally first is generally the best idea. Then into armor, and then from there just go to life, and then life regen. Boom, done. For these paragons here, resource cost reduction is amazing. So like you can really choose what you want. If you're struggling with spirit, go resource cost reduction. If you're not struggling with spirit, then go area damage. But both of these, if you can get both, get both. These are really amazing. Life on hit is not necessary as you don't take damage if you're picking up gold, so you don't really need it. But you know, it's better than gold find. Gold find's irrelevant if you've got a lot of gold, you know. But you know, if you've got extra paragons, why not? You know, why not spec into that bad boy? So yeah, that kind of concludes the guide. That's it. We've covered everything. We've covered gear. We've covered paragons. We've covered skills. I bet you I forgot something. But that's the beauty. I'm a streamer, boys. As you can see here, Quinn69. If you want to check out the stream, if you've got any questions, honestly, because I do try and check my YouTube as much as possible. But if you really want a direct answer, just go Twitch TV/Quinn69, and then I can answer you directly. I stream every single day, aroundabouts. I mean, almost every single day, you know. So you can hit me up there and just ask anything you want, you know, anything you want. And also, another thing to note, down below in the description there, boys, there is a link. I'm going to make a written guide, so like a Diablo fan's written guide, which will go over all the stat priorities in detail and alternative setups for this particular build. You know, things that say you don't have a syndicate, I could tell you what you might want to use instead of a syndicate. So yeah, that is a written guide down below. But otherwise, boys, have a good one. I hope you really enjoy this spec, because I mean, it's a lot of fun, and it's fun. It's really cool being overpowered. It's finally, this is Monk's time, boys. This is Monk's time to shine. So yeah, hope you enjoyed as much as I did. Peace out. Have a good day, boys. Have a good day.